Hey guys, welcome to English 3. So you'll notice that I am now gone. It was not intentional for me to leave this early, but I do have everything set up for you guys, so it's going to be all right that I have already gone on maternity leave. I am recording this from the hospital just for you guys so that you can be prepared and have a lesson by your teacher. So just keep in mind that everything's going to work just the way that I said. You are going to come in. You'll always have access to the lesson or slides. You will always have some sort of reading passage or assignment to do when you come in. It is still your responsibility to make sure you're getting that in. And I will be making sure to sync that information with focus from your Canvas. I know for at least another week or so, they want us to give you grace about if you don't have computers and stuff. But if you do have a computer, I need you to be using it. Do not ask for a paper copy if you already have a computer. Just move somewhere that has a plug if that's what you need, and everything's going to be all right. But for at least the next week, I believe other teachers in the department are going to be making sure that paper copies find their way into your hands if that is something that you require. So with all that being said, today's lesson is going to be over a reading called Balboa. In your Canvas, you should have access to that reading and access to a Canvas quiz about that reading. So it'll be some multiple choice questions and I think maybe some long answer. So without further ado, here is your journal for the day. So you can pause this. If you're the sub, this would be a good time to stop this. If you're watching this on your device, this is a good time to stop this and look at what the journal says. Open up your journal in your drive and work on that now. So here's what it is. Is your image of yourself different from the image you want others to see? How so? Does this ever cause conflict with others or within yourself? Take a few minutes to write your thoughts about these questions. So you can just pause here and work on that. And then when you're ready, we can keep going. All right, here we go. Today, we're going to look at the structure of this type of short story. We're going to answer some questions to check our understanding. We're going to try to understand how narrative techniques and literary elements shape our theme. All right, here we go. So this genre is a fiction short story. A short story is a brief piece of fiction where the author explores life and human nature through some sort of theme. To develop that theme, they'll use literary elements like character, plot, and setting. Sometimes the author will use narrative techniques like flashback and flash forward, particularly in this story, that show the story unfolding in a different order than we're used to. These devices or techniques will create some sort of suspense to keep readers interested in the story. All right, so writers of fiction use their works to communicate insights about life or human nature, and these are the themes. A theme is a key message or insight of a work. Most themes aren't stated. You have to figure out what the theme is based off of your understanding of this work. So you're going to read it, you're going to think about the kinds of messages that were being given to you by the author, and which ones you think are the most important. So take a look at what the characters do, what happens in the plot, what's going on in the story, and build your idea of what you think the theme is from that. So in order to identify these themes, I want you to kind of ask these questions about these different things while you're reading. So for character, I want you to ask, how does the main character change, or how does he fail to change? What qualities does he possess? How do these qualities determine his reaction to the conflict? And what message does the author convey through how the character's traits influence his reactions? When you're looking at the plot, Tell me, what do you think the major conflict is? How does this conflict lead to other problems? How is that conflict resolved? Is there a lesson that's going to be learned from the way that that conflict is resolved? That's going to help you shape that theme. And then setting. How does the setting contribute to the problem or challenge a character faces? What qualities does a character reveal as they interact with the setting? What theme might emerge from the way the character solves that problem? All right, so let's talk about plot structure. The structure of a story is the way that it's organized. Some stories, or most of them, are chronological, but so that's like, beginning to end. But sometimes we have things stuck out of order to create some sort of suspense. Authors may seek to achieve more subtle effect by providing information on characters or setting that might be important to the plot, and they might put it all around in different places, just to make the story more interesting. So, particularly for this story, we want to focus on flashback and flash forwards. So I'm going to tell you what those are to help you understand better. A flashback is a scene that interrupts the action to describe events that took place earlier in time. Flashbacks are things that happened a long time ago or even a while ago. And we are in current times, and then suddenly we're looking at something that's already happened previously. Flashbacks are important for background information. They help us gain new perspective on the characters, their motives. They help us understand what caused events to happen and see our author's message more clearly. The reverse of this is the flash forward. They interrupt the narrative to give readers a look at what will happen after the events in the main plot take place. So this is, we have a story that's going along in one time period, and we are suddenly looking at what could be in the future, what will be. Often I see authors do this like right at the beginning. They'll give us like what's going to happen, and then they'll be like 5 months ago, and then that's where our story really takes place. A flash forward may change the reader's outlook on events and characters in the story and affect the mood that is created. Because if we already know kind of like what's going to happen later, it's going to change the way we treat the now. It could illuminate the meaning of our work. Okay. Also remember that foreshadowing is a writer's use of hints about what will happen in the story. This one you should definitely already know. Foreshadowing makes a story more suspenseful, and it prepares us for what's to come. Sometimes foreshadowing is subtle. For example, a character might come across a symbol that might indicate something that happens later, and sometimes it's very direct. You can find an example of a very direct foreshadowing in page 24 of this text. All right. An allusion, you should have learned your freshman year, is a reference to another story in order to make a point. We often just call these like references to other stories. This story in particular has heavy biblical references, as do a lot of stories that you're going to read in this like early American time period. In order to clearly understand, you may need to know about the biblical character of Moses, who was an important figure in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So it helps to know who Moses is to get some of these references. Religious text will describe the Israelites as enslaved Hebrews in Egypt. Moses was an Israelite who escaped Egypt. Religious texts say God spoke to Moses from a burning bush on a mountain called Mount Horeb. He told Moses to help free the Israelites from slavery. Following God's instruction, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. So if you see these references to Moses and what he did, this is what they're talking about. This story right here. Moses saving enslaved Hebrews from Egypt when they were going to do some bad stuff to them. So allusion is when we have references to any other text in our story, and that's what you're going to see in this one. All right, cultural references that you might see in this text, or words or phrases that may be unfamiliar to you. Okay, he says, as if they are the Israelites, and Balboa alone is off to speak with God. So this is as if he were Moses, which I just told you about. So he's thinking of himself as this character. Civilized is behaving well, behaving according to the rules or laws of the time. Virgin mountain air means air that is unchanged from its natural condition. It hasn't been polluted in any way. Outcropping of rock is a part of a rock formation that you can see above the surface of the land. And smallpox and syphilis. It's important to note that these are new diseases to the natives. They did not have these diseases there. They were diseases in Europe, and they were brought over to people who had no immunities to these things. And so it made them fatal, where now smallpox and syphilis may not be fatal to us. They absolutely would have been to natives at this time period. All right. So again, today you're going to complete your digital journal entry, which you saw earlier. And if you haven't completed it yet, you can click back in through the slides and see it again. And then on Canvas, you're going to read Balboa. You have a link to it and complete those questions. If you have questions, you can ask the sub. You can ask another teacher around. I know Mr. Harrow is upstairs. He's not doing this assignment, but he could probably help you. And then you can send me emails or Canvas messages if you need, but do keep in mind, I am in the hospital having a baby, so I might not get back to you super quickly. This will be due by the next time that you have this class. Keep in mind that I am planning on still syncing Canvas, so know that's happening and be prepared for that. I will be having another teacher come in and grade any of the paper assignments while I'm gone. So those may take a little longer to get in, but those of you who have done the online one, it should grade immediately. So the sync should happen pretty quickly. All right. Good luck, you guys. Again, if you need anything, please send me a message. Just know it might take me a little bit to get to you. I'm so sorry. I did not intend to be out this quickly. You were supposed to have 2 more weeks with me, and that's just not how it worked out. So good luck. I will see you, in a